welcome to another Mindset Morning where we are starting brand new content with exactly what to say for real estate. So while I'm having no problem with audio, anyone else have any challenges with audio? Not seeing anybody else? Fantastic. So that takes care of that. And guys, we were supposed to read the intro sections and just chapter 1. That's all we're going to cover. I'm going to take some time at the end today to talk about what we're going to do with implementation on this. And boy, oh boy, would I get some other folks in here on this content. As many of you know, we have been teaching these elements. You've probably heard a lot of these isms in my rooms over the last decade. And here is a tome that really wraps them up well that we are going to go through and help you guys with your number one job, which is conversations. I hear time and time again that you guys are struggling with them. Well, the next 2.5, 3 weeks are going to be dedicated to you plussing it. So I want to start first with what the author said in here about how we should be doing this on the top of page 6. My advice is to have a notebook and pen with you when you read. So number 1, read. That means you should all have the book. And so every day you're going to see me like I'm going to do right now. Everybody hold that bad boy up. Show me you got the content. Show me you're following the model and you're reading. All right. And for those that don't yet, let's get your hands on it ASAP so you can follow along and grow with us. And then number 2, as always, this room is about you guys. This isn't my room. It's our room. So what do you have from either the opening sections or chapter 1 that jumped off the page?
Well, as you were saying, the number one thing we have challenges with is what we do all the time, which is communication and conversations. And on page XV, I guess that would be 15, it says, the modern consumer is more educated and has more choices than ever. Counterintuitively, this has led to more confusion, doubt, and frustration in their real estate journey. And I see that quite a lot. You would think that more information would be more helpful to help make a decision. But what it does, it's almost like information overload and they don't know what to do. So I think this is going to be an amazing book. In the next paragraph, it says, in order for us to stand out above the competition, we'll have to increase our ability to provide clarity and instill confidence and add value to justify our fee. So here we go. Same conversation we've been having for 4 months.
Henry Ford had one color, black.
Right.
Yep. And I got to say,
you can have any color that you like as long as it's black, right?
Black. That's right.
And I'm not sure if it's for you, but I just want to say that this is the story in real estate that, oh my gosh, the consumer is so much more educated today that they don't need us. And as Doug is pointing out, it's actually the opposite. They're on information overload and they need us more than ever. Celeste, your mic was hot.
Well, to begin with, this last statement, that as a professional communicator, you will have to have the skills needed to stand out above the competition and your ability to provide clarity and instill confidence. I'm kind of wrapping that all into one burrito. Burrito is the word I just used, yes, called just simply great communication skills. That's my thought, because how we communicate, again, we make a lot of assumptions. How we communicate is the way to communicate. We need to ask more questions about how we should communicate, because people don't communicate always the way we think they do. And my example would be my client over the weekend was bragging that she still had a landline. I was in shock that she thought that was a positive. In my head, I'm like, and where do you park your horse? So that was number one. That wasn't my comment that I was going to make originally, though. My comment was chapter 1. We have been given the training to avoid the word but. But now they're showing that this is the right time to throw that into the conversation, because basically you're throwing out a line and then you're taking it back. And the moment people feel like they're not getting what they were offered, now all of a sudden that's what they want. It's kind of like somebody who doesn't want to date you. They keep saying no, no, no. Now all of a sudden you're wanting to know, well, what the fuck? Sorry, did I say that out loud? You want to know what's wrong. Why don't they want me?
So let's hit this straight between the eyes, this one piece right now that you put in there, because you are absolutely right. We have worked for a decade to get you out of the habitual use of the word but, because most of us are using it incorrectly. The preponderance is we're undermining our power using it, and we're giving ourselves the weasel words of but and try. Now we're putting back in the very specific strategic use. And it's only going to be used with the rest of the sentence that's there. And I want you guys to internalize that, okay? So we're going to come back to it, Celeste. I know someone else is going to get to it, and I'm not sure if it's for you, but Tom, what have you got? Oh, you just unmuted yourself. You were unmuted. You muted.
Sorry. No, I don't have anything. I've got the book, but not here. And Celeste, you really woke me up with the horse and the other thing.
So
I think what he's
and
trying
the
to say,
burrito.
Celeste, is you really woke him up with your butt. I think that's what he's saying. Yeah. All right,
I thought
Clint,
it was the
brother?
burrito. I thought it was the burrito.
Oh,
Good.
can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. That professional communication thing, that's what hit me. I thought I was a real estate agent. I really did. I could have sworn I was a real estate agent. How did I get to be a professional communicator? I think that is so cool. That changes the whole paradigm. It's quote unquote trying to sell a house, and I'm just talking to get someone's perspective into what's their best benefit. Man, there's a lot of pressure off of my shoulders. I love that. What do y'all think?
Yeah, well, every single one of us is, as I say, paid in direct proportion to the number of conversations you have. And I always talk quantity over quality first. This book now is about upping the quality. And I'm just going to stress with you right out of the gate, if you guys aren't having a lot of conversations intentionally every day, you're taking swings at the plate every day, what you're going to learn over the next 2.5 weeks, you're not going to be able to implement as well because you're not practicing it. And there's 3 pieces that we're going to go through on practice that we're going to talk about. 1, we're going to learn how to do it, which is what we're doing in this half hour. You're going to hear from Don and Robert and myself how to deliver this stuff. 2, then, you need to role play. And you're going to hear later today how we're going to set that up and actually have that practice in place going forward right now. And then finally, 3, the most important, real play. You put it into practice and you use it in conversations right after. Those 3 every day are going to implement this stuff at a high level. Okay. I want to make sure that happens for you. What else you guys have? Justin, your mic is hot, brother.
Yeah. So I really, I'm really liking this book so far. That first chapter, in the first part, I think is gold, and it's something we can use all the time. I'm not sure if this is for you, but I think there's a ton of different adaptations that we can make to that, along with that intentional use of but, especially if we identify the people that we're working with as mismatchers. we can tell them, whatever their likely outcome that they're afraid of, and then use the intentional but. Like, people that are, let's say they're afraid of a multiple offer situation. You could say, there is a very good chance that we could write an offer and not get this property, but why don't we just give it a try? Something like that. I'm excited to do the role play. And I also thought of Richard, which I know Ross has had a call or two with Richard, our agent in Panama. I don't know if it's just Rich or if it's a Central American thing, but he uses the word but very frequently. And it is so exaggerated because he'll tell you something and then he'll say, but, and then he says whatever the other thing is. So it kind of keyed in, made me think of that. I've got a lot to think about with it. Better word.
Absolutely. You got a lot, Caesar. I'm going to come back. I'm going to come to you in just a sec. Keep that mic hot because there's a couple things I want to place in here since we're talking high-level communication as well as the but. Right out of it, when you open up the cover, let's face it, winning and losing in the world of real estate is largely dependent upon your ability to effectively communicate with your clients. Whether in person, over email, or direct message, the right word at the right time holds the power to deliver the right results. You are all professional communicators, period. Nothing else is going to matter. And so what he's talking about in this book, he calls magic words. Magic words are sets of words that talk straight to the subconscious brain. This is neuro-linguistic programming. There's a ton of NLP in here, including this strategic but. It's an NLP element speaking to the subconscious directly. Know that we talk about those things at a high level. I love dumbing it down to this concept of magic words, and but being one of those. And let's lean into it and embrace it. The final thing, though, that I want to make sure I cover right now in the opening. He talks about all these different people who put in all this work to be able to be the best. Whether it's a violinist or someone who's a communicator, they put in the effort and the action, and all of a sudden we think that they've got this gift, this talent, when really it's just time on task over time.
Mm-hmm.
Don, your mic's hot, and I know this is your sweet spot because you blended some of this maybe from a book, Outliers. So what do you got, brother? And then I want to go to Caesar.
Well, real quickly, there's so much. I was surprised. I was like, okay, we're in the foreword and we're barely going to get out of the foreword, but there's so much here because the setup is so great. I want to go back to your magic words because I was thinking about, and actually I was thinking about what I want to do with this concept of magic and the automagically, because when you use magic words, people automagically make different decisions, right? They just automagically come to conclusions that are in support of what they want to do in the first place. And remember, that's the only objective we've got. We're not here to manipulate anybody into doing what we want. We want them to do what they want, but then let so many things get in their way that we are clearing that out and getting them so they automagically make the right decisions for them and their families. So that was one thing I really loved. And of course, the whole thing of questions, which, questions are the answer. I've said it 10,000 different ways, asking questions, being in control. Who's in control? They who ask questions. And I wrote down, it's not the question you ask that leads to your failure. It's the question you don't ask that guarantees your failure.
Say that again.
It's not the question you ask that leads to your failure. It's the question you don't ask that guarantees your failure.
That's pretty deep. Love that.
I'm done.
All right, Ryan Van Orm, add on to it, Caesar. I still see you on my radar, buddy. I'm
Yeah,
coming
so
right at you. Go right.
I wanted to plus something what Justin said about, remember, Justin, that the more extroverted people are more okay, I think, with risk, if I'm not mistaken. whereas that introverted people are more, they're like, they don't want to lose something. So depending on how their personality is, you can word that differently. So I wanted to just to plus that with you, and then to plus a little bit with Don said on page 7, why conversations important. Conversations are important, but questions start conversations. Conversations build relationships. Relationships then create opportunities, and opportunities lead to decisions. So I love that that step by step almost, because you have to think about. It reminds me also of, why am I getting crappy answers? Because you're asking crappy questions. So like ask a better question, you'll get a better answer. So I love that all of this is kind of coming together right off the bat. So I just want to add that.
Awesome, Caesar. Ryan, what do you got, brother?
The thing that comes to mind when I'm hearing this is asking better questions is great through this whole process. However, it's, in my opinion, it's the actual volume of questions that you're actually having. So many times people want to be perfect and have 3 conversations and have 3 deals come out of it. No, you're going to have to actually talk to people, like actually have like 300 conversations. Get over it, people. This is our job. Be a professional communicator. That's what you have to do. So like, if I want to expand my downline and become somebody that in the shadows of Russ, of being able to have passive income, I'm going to have to talk to probably 50 agents a day. I'm not afraid of that. But if you want to be a big real estate agent, you have to have the conversations. Stop trying to be perfect with 3 conversations and start actually having 300 in a week.
And to build relationships. I would plus that too. I want to ask everybody in this room, how many people have a better relationship with Ryan? And there's probably a reason why that is because he probably called you and had a conversation with you, and probably multiple conversations. That's what's built that relationship. So that's, again, going back to that page, and that's the process of why people get comfortable with you. They know, like, and then trust you at the end, because you're constantly having conversations, building that relationship, and you don't see them as just a sales number. It's more of a relationship.
Amen. And I love, Ryan, you anchor in this quantity over quality, just getting into it and making it out. I'm going to have 300, and the next 300 I have a year from now are going to be amazing. We're going to get better through repetition. So that being said, the other thing I'm always going to work on with you guys, especially over the next 2-3 weeks, is cleaning up our habitual language, because that also undermines us. Ryan, you opened up with a however. However is just a really pretty but. So we don't use that one either, okay? You also use the naughty word in my world, downline. We are building organizations. We're building a family. This room we're in is not full of downline. This is full of partners. So it's partnerships, it's organizations. Those words matter because they really talk to the true intention of the depth of relationships we are building. Jeanette, I see your mic hot, and you have been. What do you got, my dear?
The first thing in the book, the worst time to think about the thing you're going to say is in the moment you are saying it. And the whole purpose of this book is to prepare us for nearly every known eventuality and provide us with a fair advantage in almost every conversation. So that's, how many times do many, especially before we started here, answer the question on the spot, as opposed to designing the conversation that we want.
Yeah, are we thinking it ahead of time? Like you said, Jeanette, designing it ahead of time, kind of having in our mind what it looks like, making sure we're building in the right language. All of that's a part, and we're going to be picking up nuggets on this. So how many of you struggle, by show of hands, with maybe that initial opening on a cold call, or maybe that initial response when someone calls you off of a sign call or something else? How many of you struggle with that? So where might you find a great opening line to help you transition there? Who might have one on the top of their head right now?
I have one. Yeah, last
Go for it,
night
Elizabeth, what do you got?
I got call of an urgent call. Somebody texted me, said, Elizabeth, you need to show me this home. Our family's in emergent. I'm like, okay. So I had to go there at 9 o'clock, 9:30 by the time. And then they're like, we've been through this. You don't have to talk too much, la, la, la. So I say, yeah, I have so many magical things I want to support you. But let me tell you, I got this. So you know who I am, which is Don helped me design this whole thing, my trifle. I said, I don't want to say anything. I just want to listening to you. But in order for you to feel comfortable about me, because we're first time me, it's whole family. There are 5 people. So I say, give you this booklet. Let me listening to you. And then they just browse through, and the daughter look at that and just show mom. She's the person. Show mom. So end up, I got a successful transaction last night.
And that is awesome. Coming back to stuff we've done before, and maybe, just maybe, how many by show of hands have their personal brochure? Elizabeth, your hand should be up. I know. I see Dawn. I see Celeste working on her. I see Ryan kind of working on his. So this may be an opportunity for us to get with Dawn and go, okay, Dawn, let's go and rewrite. Let's re-ramp that gateway to mastery. Maybe it's time to bring that up. Who knows? What else, though, from the content? So I'm looking. I saw Judy. I think your hand was up, wasn't it?
I don't know, but I'm not sure if it's for you. I'm not sure if it's for you, but I think that's what you were looking for.
And you've heard me say it's exactly what I'm looking for. I'm not sure if it's for you, but, and almost anything can come after that. Okay. I'm not sure if it's for you, but this listing you're calling about has some really unique things about it, rather than just answering their question, how much? I'm not sure it's for you, but I've been looking for talent in Houston, Texas, and your name was given to me as somebody I should be talking to. I'm not sure if it's for you, but is an incredible opening. I have already updated scripts this morning because this is a piece I've never gotten my hands on. Chapter 1 is just a massive change right out of the gate and how to get their subconscious to open to what everything else you have. So, Judy, that's exactly what I was looking for. Celeste, what else you got?
I wanted to say that this whole first conversation, you want to say something to the effect of, I think this property has so many great attributes, but before I go that direction, what was it about the advertisement you saw that made you say, let's pick up the phone on this? And giving them the opportunity to talk. That's it.
So awesome. So let's link it back to the content. Answer, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a great property. I'm not sure if it's for you, but tell me what about this property caught your attention.
Exactly.
I'm not sure if it's for you, but tell me what you were looking for.
Can I plus one thing to Coach with
this?
Of
course, Caesar.
I feel like tonality is so important with this one, because if you kind of, it can be like, I'm not sure if this is for you, but like, it comes off a little too extent. But if you come out a little confused, you're like, you know what? I'm not sure this is for you. And you act confused, and they almost like, well, why? They almost want to know why you're confused and help you almost answer that question. So I just wanted to thought about that and the tonality of these questions, and added that to you guys.
And also use them word for word. That's the practice piece. I'm not sure if it's for you, but. Okay, word for word for word. So, guys, here's going to be the fun part. And I want to make sure we get this in before we get done with the day. Starting tomorrow, I'm not going to screw with our Monday schedule. Starting tomorrow, the 2 o'clock is going to be 2 to 3 practice and role play. Period. That's what we're going to do with it. I want you guys in there getting warmed up, and then stick around for the 3 to 5 to actually real play what you're doing. So here's how we're going to work the practice and role play on this and this is Central Times, from 2 to 3 Central. You guys show up, and I'm going to assign you to triads, 3 people. Those that have been in my world before know my triad process. So first person is the agent practicing a script. Second person is the consumer interacting with them, receiving the script. Third person is the observer taking copious notes. Okay? It's called the feedback sandwich. Somebody's going to be on a timer, and you are going to go 6 minutes. In fact, we'll go 6.5 to give it an odd number. 6.5 minutes, stop, 3.5 minute feedback sandwich from the observer and from the person receiving, from the consumer. You, as the agent, only say thank you. You do not justify. You do not respond, well, this is why I said that. You just listen to the feedback. So that's a 10-minute block. Then we rotate. Different agent, different consumer, different observer, 6.5 minute role play, 3.5 minute feedback sandwich. The feedback sandwich, guys, from the observer and from the consumer is, here's what you did good, little piece of bread. Here's where you get to get better. Here's the areas of improvement, big fat meaty section. Here's what you did awesome. Last piece of bread. That'll wrap up another 10-minute block. Boom, right on it. No chit chat, no bullshit. 6.5 minute conversation, 3.5 minute feedback sandwich with the third rotation. So in 30 minutes, everyone will be an agent, everyone will be a consumer, everyone will be an observer. And then you'll come back to the renegade room. So you'll come in here. I'll find 3 people that are all on iPhone. I'll assign you guys to call each other, and you'll post phone numbers and go get on your own separately and do that. And I will keep moving people out of the room in groups of 3 for that first 15 minutes. Now, I am also looking Caesar at you, Don at you, Ryan at you, Camacho, Justin, Celeste. I have a busy week of family. I am traveling. I am on vacation this week. And if they're not up, I'm going to be here in the mornings, afternoons. I promise I'm not going to be there Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So I'm looking for you guys to step up and lead that facilitation of putting 3 people with the same technology together, getting them out of the room. And then when we come back, the last 15 minutes of that hour will be us collectively giving feedback, collectively sharing what we learned about the content. And then right at 3 o'clock, we're on our phones, having real conversations, testing what we learned. That being said, Don Hobbs, you have anything to add to this model?
I want you all to be listening to, since the conversation around personal brochures came up, Gateway to Mastery came up, remember the conversation is what we speak and also what we write. So look for patterns that we can use in our writing, in our text messages, and in all forms of communication, not just in the verbal, okay? We don't have the tonality that Cesar was talking about, but we do have the ability to write words that make sense and put people into a state of decision-making for them.
For example, in tonality could be, instead of, oh, I'm going to get that, you say, I'll acquire it, or a different word that I think will plus what you're trying to accomplish. So.
And Celeste, by the way, I've seen your brochure.
Challenges, as you have these challenges, bring them back into the rooms, either here or in our afternoon, so we can talk about them. We can have conversations around them and help you build better language.